All this week we've been running a series on the School for Creative and Performing Arts. That school is housed in one of the city's oldest buildings and one of its richest in terms of history. In fact, one of America's presidents visited the Queen City the day after he was elected to the presidency just to lay the cornerstone of this school. With the story, here's our history expert, Dan Hurley.
What's happening here at the School for the Creative and Performing Arts is an exciting experiment in education. And it's fitting that this experiment's taking place on the single most important site in the history of Cincinnati education. In 1826, William Woodward, a local farmer, tanner, and land speculator, set aside 7 acres of land along Sycamore Street as a trust fund to support a school for the poor children of the city. 5 years later, in October 1831, Woodward High School opened in a simple 4-room building, which soon added a college division. Among the early teachers was Joseph Ray, who became nationally famous for his arithmetic books, which were almost as popular as the McGuffey Readers. In 1851, both the college and high school closed, but the latter was reopened 4 years later in a new Gothic Revival building on the same property, but now under the direction of the Cincinnati Common Schools. One of the school's most famous grads was William Howard Taft, who was in the class of 1874. Taft later said the education he received at Woodward prepared him well for life, as it did thousands of young Cincinnatians in the last part of the 19th century. By the turn of the century, the population of the school had grown so large that a new building was begun. On November the 4th, 1908, William Howard Taft, who only the day before had been elected President of the United States, returned to lay the cornerstone for a modern building. A huge crowd, including 1,500 graduates, paraded through the streets full of pride for the local boy made good and the school which produced him. The new Woodward was magnificently equipped by the standards of the day and included the latest in chemistry lab designs and a domestic science department where girls were taught to cook, sew, and care for the house. For 43 years, Woodward High School was housed here until population shifts forced a relocation out to Roselawn. Then, from 1953 to 1976, this was Cutter Junior High, named after Woodward's wife, Abigail Cutter. William and Abigail Woodward are still buried here on part of the school property, which was, at one time, their farm, and for 150 years has served the students of Cincinnati. I'm Dan Hurley for Eyewitness 12.
That's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
It's beautiful inside. There was some of that rookwood pottery and all that.
Oh, I agree.
Okay, I guess we're talking about pretty things. We better look at a pretty weather forecast.
Oh, we are going to look at a beautiful weather